The makeup you put on your knees is smeared?
Oh, it really is. Wait.
No, I'm joking. No, your knees look great. That's so funny to have a knee insecurity.
And I just have this dream that I am just going down and are like in a public space, just going to town on Alberta's badge.
Hi guys, welcome to Anniewood episode 80. We have Rachel Feinstein on the podcast. The beautiful, hilarious, and amazing Rachel was in town for the Netflix as a Joke Festival, and she is promoting her Netflix special that's coming out. So check that out, and you can see the uncensored version with no bleeps. You can hear all the cuss words at Patreon. That's just patreon.com/Annie Lederman. Join the club, you guys. It's really fun. We have a lot of extra bonus content and stuff, and we're figuring out a fun little world in there. And just stay towards the light and don't get taken by the dark forces inside our cool club. But join our club, guys. We're going places. True enlightenment. Also, you can see me on the road. First, my next Anniewood and Friends is at the Comedy Store. We've got Tim Dillon and a bunch of other great comics. That's this Tuesday, the 21st, at the Comedy Store. Get your tickets. It will sell out. And then, hold on. And then we have Oxnard, Levity Live, June 7th and 8th. I'll be in Jacksonville, Florida, June 28th and 29th. Irvine, California, July 19th and 20th. That's my birthday. Come there and hang out with me. I'll be in Tacoma, Washington, September 13th and 14th. And I'll be in Naples, Florida, October 10th. I have so many other dates being added. So please go to annielederman.com/shows for tickets.
Welcome to Anniewood.
Hi guys, welcome to Anniewood, episode 80. We're getting up there. We have Rachel Feinstein. She told me Stein. It's everyone calls me Lederman and Letterman, and it's a nightmare. And
who cares? I don't care. I don't care at all. I mean, yeah.
I care.
If with Feinstein, what's the difference anyway? Yeah. It's like, it's not. It's a pretty
I know Lederman and
names.
Letterman too. It's like whatever. Who cares?
Yeah, that name is not doing me any favor. There's a reason there's not a lot of like normal Weintraubs and.
Should we just call you like Fine? Rachel
Feinstein. Say I'm Catholic.
Why not? I feel like Catholics you're married to a firefighter.
Yeah, I love Catholics.
Yeah. Is your husband Jewish?
No, he's an Irish Catholic Colombian boy of Florida.
Fun.
Yeah, he's very Catholic.
I can't believe married.
Like when we fight, I'll like find him in a church. It's like so dumb, you know. He'll like run away to be like sitting in a church, and I'm like, you can't do that. This is not a fucking bad mob movie from the 80s. You moron. I'm always looking for him like, Peter. Yeah. We had a fight once where he like canceled his Facebook page, like, because he was like, I don't know, he was screaming about the government or something. And then he ended up in a church. I'm like, those things don't even match. You can't be like, who's the guy in church? Why can't I even think of his name right now? I'm like, you can't be furious at Mark Zuckerberg and also end up in a church. It's too stupid.
You also can't complain about him on his platform.
Yeah, on his platform. Yeah.
Did you see the hot Zuckerberg picture where they like AI'd him hot?
No, I didn't.
Todd, can you pull it up? It's like, I'm actually so horny for him, and I like don't. The fact that he doesn't exist is so sad to me. I would leave Todd for this.
Doesn't he have like an Asian pediatrician wife that he met in college?
You should they made him like hot.
Oh wow, he's like Prince Harry there. Yeah, he looks so much less haunting.
They just did a little zhuzh, and it really
worked. Yeah, I'd like. Yeah, you know that's a guy you want inside you right there.
That's like what Blake Lively did. She just did like a little tiny. It's all about that little the tiniest little.
That's right. Done. Just a Jew's whisper. Those are your words, by the way.
Yes, Todd is very anti-Semitic.
Just a Jew's whisper. He said. He said that's the smallest form of measurement.
He squinted his eyes.
Well, Todd made fun of me because I was raised Quaker, so my mom was like adopted, and she was raised Christian, but her adopted mom was Jewish. And then my dad, his father was Jewish, but wasn't like around. And then his mom was like adopted, but they thought she was Jewish. They don't, whatever. Our 23andMe says that I'm 25% Jewish, but.
Interesting.
Todd said, my parents and I take like self-help courses together. And so my mom got into Kabbalah right before this stuff started happening.
Really? Did she back out slowly?
No, she didn't, but she got into it, and then I got into it, and Todd's like, don't join Kabbalah like right after this goes down. Don't like become like.
Yeah, it's not the easiest time. I can't promote a date in Tampa anymore. I'll tell you that.
Oh, Tampa. Yeah. You just got a release date on your special?
May 21st. It's going to be out. Yeah.
Exciting. That's so soon.
And I don't have cellulite showing here, right? I'm like kind of distracted.
You look gorgeous. Okay. Your legs are perfect.
Thank you. We were just talking about comments people put on Instagram, and somebody was like wrote knees yikes under one of my videos. And since then I've like bought so many ointments and treatments. I spray them.
She also has like gorgeous knees. It's like, you have like exceptional knees. There's a bruise, which is kind of hot.
Okay.
You got thrown around at the comedy store.
That's from getting passed around last night.
Guys, it's been the Netflix as a joke festival, and I'm glad you're still wearing the team colors of
And
Netflix.
I got passed around. It was you.
But guys, how do you think she got the special? But it's really, the special came out and they still pass you around. No, the Netflix as a joke festival has been, so you came here a little bit late, like.
Yeah, I did.
But you're still, I feel like
lot.
You've weathered the storm of this.
Yes, I've hung out a bit. Yeah, I'm here for a while. I was supposed to be here with my whole family, but then my husband hurt himself and in a fire, like a and stretch first.
Is it like annoying?
So basic.
Is it annoying to date someone that does like a heroic job?
Yes, it's infuriating. I talk about it in the special. I'm like, because every time I'm arguing with people, like stop him and they're like, "Thank you for your service." I'm like, he's actually being kind of a dick right now. No, it's very annoying because he doesn't ever. I mean, for a cocktail of reasons, it's because he doesn't ever get a moment where somebody's like really calls him on his nonsense because he is a technical hero. So it's a little bit frustrating. So
you're like in a fight with him. He's running into a fire.
Yes, that's happened. That's the problem.
You're I'm going to fold every piece of laundry in this house.
Yes, and I can't hold like a silent treatment. Like if he pisses me off before work, because just in case. I can't. So I have to be like, I have to like say something sweet. I give him little Catholic things to put in his bunker gear. Even though I'm Jew, I give him like little things that are supposed to keep him safe and stuff. But it sucks because like when I know that I'm in the right in a fight and I should be able to edge this out to get my demands met, I can't like go into negotiations with him before he goes to the firehouse, which kind of blows.
And have you gone down the pole? Is there really a pole?
Yeah, I've asked him to go down the pole, but he said I would hurt myself. He's like, no, you're not. He was like, what did he say? You're too dizzy, or like I'm a dizzy.
He didn't say like, he wasn't like, oh, your knees are a little knobby.
Not with your mangled elder knees. No, he told me that I would just fall because he knows that I'm like very clumsy and I can't even drive. I'll like kill someone. Yeah. So yeah.
Well, driving's hard. So Todd and I always get into this debate when he's drunk and I'm sober. Mm-hmm. We're like, is it better if you drive? Like still? I'm like, is this like, are we making the right choice here with me? So
you're
driving?
like me, you're like, I'm like mangled with ADD. Like everywhere I go, I leave something.
It's so bad. Like when I was single and like out hooking up with a guy, it was such a nightmare because they kept thinking I was like doing a thing.
Me too, every time.
I would just like, I can't tell you how many like earrings I went through where I was like, just keep it.
Yes.
Keep my license. I'll just get another license. I don't care. Keep my passport. I never want to see you again because they're like, oh, what a move. I'm like, it's not a move.
Yes, that happened to me many, many times. And I left, I went to my daughter's little preschool interview and I left my passport there, like a gross. I left like a passport and like a USB cord at her store.
Oh, there's always a cord. There's always a cord. Or I get some and I only have the nugget. I'm like, I didn't even bring my charger. I'm like, I just have like the clunkiest part of the charger filling up my purse. The most embarrassing thing I ever did was when I was doing Rooster Teeth Feathers. Have you done that club in like?
Yes, I have.
Right.
Yeah.
One of the greats. Can't wait to go back.
By the way, I had a guy come stand outside my door when I was there. Like he was knocking on the door, just some drunk from the crowd because there's like an outside entrance to the hotel. Anyway, yeah, he was just there.
Oh, he just follows you home. It is fun to be a girl on the road. It's like,
yeah,
this meet and greet is a little more intimate than I thought. I used to have people before I was with Todd and just couldn't do more jokes about being in a relationship the minute I was in one. When I was like single on the road, people would at the meet and greets would just be like, there'd be just couples like waiting.
Yes, everybody wants to have a threesome with us. Nobody, by the way, wants to date us. There's a real supply and demand issue with that. But they all want to bring, like, it's always deeply heinous couples that want me.
No, they're hideous, like very... You're like you get sent pictures and it's like a full bush. You're like, you didn't even like wax for me or anything. It's like,
so this happens to you too, because every time in a meet and greet, there's somebody that just like coyly asks
and they just linger.
Yeah.
Or it'll be like a guy who's married, but he's on a trip, like a work trip, and he's like, my wife's cool with it. I'm like, with what? I'm not cool with it. What are you talking about?
I love that everybody just assumes we're such godless that just anyone's very welcome inside us.
But like, So when I was at Rooster Teeth Feathers, this guy reached out to me. He's like, I work at NASA. I would love to give you like a tour of NASA. And I was like, that's amazing. I would love to see NASA. So he takes me around and meeting all these brilliant scientists and astronauts. He's showing me like a supercomputer. Like I remember.
Was he hot? Sorry.
No.
Okay.
Unless he's watching, he was a gorgeous man. I'd love to go to NASA with my fiance, and I will not bang your wife. But he was very nice. A little autistic, you know how astronauts are.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, something was wrong.
So he takes me to the to NASA. We go through. I meet everyone. I do like the whole thing. I have a show in like 2 hours. My rental car. I go back to my rental car. Cannot find the keys. Don't have the keys. Lost the keys on a tour with the most brilliant minds. Have to go back through the tour in reverse.
I know this so much.
Hey guys, I know you're trying to see if there's like aliens are landing or if we can beat China to the supercomputer. But
if we can beat China to the supercomputer.
I don't know. I don't even know.
You have to tell the story on stage. That's really funny.
It's so bad. And I went through everything and I ended up finding them in a field of grass. I had run, I guess I saw the guy across the thing and I was like, yay, I'm here, and threw my keys onto the ground and like ran up to him.
This is my whole life. All I do is just go back like every day. Like it's real bad. And I lost so many passports. I was on some kind of like terrorist like list where I had to have like, I had like a probationary passport. I didn't even know that was a thing. I got like one passport a year and they like were really tracking me. And the first time I spent the night at my husband's house, I left like the most heinous cocktail of things there. And I was about to leave and I was like, first of all, we didn't have sex. We were both pretty drunk. And I was like, I'm not gonna have sex. I gave my whole like speech. I was like, and you can cuddle and here's the rules. And like, I used to have a joke with this, but I'm like, if I was your sexual attorney, I'd make sure you don't take this deal because it's not a good deal. I'm like, I'm telling you, you're gonna have like a gentle hard on and you're going to just wake up next to me and regret this. And he was like, all right, so he can't, so we made out and passed out. And then, I leave and I'm like, why did I do that? I should have just left at the end of the night. Like I look disgusting now. And I didn't even like, we didn't have sex. Like he just wants me out of his apartment now. And I was looking at his life, just this life of this guy I was like, he's about to reject me. Like, let's see what his mom looks like. Like I was just looking around his pictures, you know? And then I leave and I realize I forgot like some kind of bag there. I was like, fuck, I knock on the door again. He already has it in his hands. It was, how disgusting is this cocktail of things? I can't think of a less arousing coupling of things. It was pantyhose that I'd bought for an audition that were tangled up around the longest Goodwill receipt you've ever seen, like a telenovela from Goodwill. And just like a few tissues.
Like you robbed Goodwill.
Yeah, there was like some tissues with like just foundation smears on them. He's like, this would be yours. Yeah. And then I go, and I don't know why I said this because it's the least sexy sentence I've ever said in my life. And I was like, because you know when you're going to hook up, you have your underwear planned. I go, I'll wear better panties next time. Oh, it's like the least sexy sentence. As I was coming out of my mouth, I was like, oh. And he goes, he like thought about it for a moment. He's like, something to look forward to. And I was like, ugh. I ran down the hallway just disgusted with my fucking dumb slovenly shame pile in my hands. And I'm like, you're a pig.
Did you feel a lot of pressure for that next underwear?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I really tried to come back running a real
just
tight
his face
ship.
on it. You like got his face printed on. I'm not crazy, I swear. It's been one time, Todd. Sorry. One time I'd gone through this breakup and I'd never done online dating. I didn't know how you do it. I thought you just like see someone you think is hot. You'll definitely think they're hot when you meet them. There's no like pheromones or anything that have to match and people don't lie or anything. And that you just like bang them and you tell them you're going to bang them and you don't like meet them somewhere first. You just go to their place. Like,
wait, how old were you when you believed this?
I was 34. Just so stupid, right? So I go to this guy's apartment and he told me he was like a music producer. So I thought he like produced like hip hop or something. Yeah. I thought he looked like, AI Zuck. I go to his place. He has like his bike helmets, like it's just like, I don't want to see your bicycle helmet when I walk in. He's got like dry cashew. Like he's such a dork. He's like, he does classical music. He's such a loser. He's got like the gayest voice you've ever. It's like, he's so unattractive. He's literally like, his voice is like, it was like,
I've gone out with so many gay men. I know the feeling. There's nothing sadder. There's no lonelier feeling than getting a blowout and arriving to a date for a man that's worst nightmare would be to be inside you. Like, there's just nothing sadder than realizing, like,
but then you're gonna like, but then also like the rejection of me like being like 100% I'm hooking up with you, and then me not hooking up with him. I was like, how do I get out of this? Like, I built my own escape room. Like, I don't know how to. What do I do? And this dork, like he was such a dork. Like the cashews, I don't know. That was like bulk cashews from. It was just from like Sprouts. It was just so bad. And just like he lived in this tiny little. It was just so horrific.
And was he trying? Was he like pretending to try? There's nothing worse than participating also in a ruse for a gay man to pretend that like he wants to be inside you. Like it's just.
I find a lot of guys that are closeted will kind of like sport they'll fuck in a way that like they think masculine men do or something.
Right.
Like give me that pussy, bring that tuna over here or whatever. And
say that again. That was amazing.
Bring that tuna over here.
You could do an entire bit of you talking dirty like a gay man is the funniest thing I've ever heard.
It's just so.
Look at that. Take that pencil skirt off, you little.
It's just so. And I'm like
the guy that knows too many details about your clothes. Take
that A-line skirt off. Look at that Empire waist.
Get those kitten heels off. You'll also like suck on that little kitten. Oh yeah, you know,
I have to be dressed exactly like you in this bit.
Oh my god!
But it was just like. So then I was like, fuck. I like made out. This was like before I got self-esteem, but I like made out with him, and then I was like trying to come up with an excuse.
Yeah.
And then I was like texting like a guy friend that I was like that we had been kind of like maybe we'll hook up. I was like, can you like, I don't know
pick you up?
Yeah, I was like, can we? So then I ended up going to, I just like I was like, I gotta run.
You needed another lap where you felt like a woman
exactly.
for that day.
I had to finish,
like, and you wanted to utilize the like makeup, hair, or whatever. Yeah.
And I'm like, can you like call, you know, so I'm like, I have to go. There's like an emergency.
I've had to do that many times, like try to frantically utilize whatever.
Like,
it's not for nothing.
I could have just like now who I am, I could have just rejected him. But it was like to me, it felt like it was like the mean to be like, I'm 100% in.
Yeah.
Get there, be like, I'm 100% out. It is you.
Yeah.
You
just lie.
So I know. So I'm like,
nobody needs the truth on a first date. Like you don't have to. That's why I feel like you ghost somebody. That's a polite thing to do. Nobody needs to know like the cocktail of things that's wrong with them. No, you lie and get out of. He's lying. He's not. He doesn't want anything to do with badge. Yeah.
So so I'm like, I get out. I'm like, oh my God, I got out. I'm gonna go see my friend. He like gets me an Uber. I'm like, this is great. My night is not ruined. I never have to see this person again. I like block him on everything except I forget to block him on Snapchat. So I block him on everything. And then I'm getting all these Snapchats from him. I'm like, this guy is such a psycho. Like, leave me alone. And I had lied and said I said I was like an artist or something, but he figured out I was a comedian. I was like, I was just like, I never want to see this guy again. I leave. He's Snapchatting me. I don't even look at them. I go hook up with my friend the next day. I look at the Snapchat. It is a picture of my watch. And I go, he can have the watch, right?
It's a watch,
it was like $200. It's like I respect myself enough to just like lose the $200. Then there's another Snapchat. I'm like, this guy will not stop, right? I open the Snap. It's $250 that had fallen out of my pocket. So I left the watch and the money I would have spent to buy the watch.
I've never related to anything more.
And I'm like, it's too much. Like, I'm like,
you have to get it.
I have to get it. So I go to the stand and this might have been around our DM time, but I go to the stand and I go, Louis J. Gomez is there. And I go, Louis, this is what happened. I don't know what to do. I need my watch. Like, can you get it for me somehow? And he's like, okay. I got it. He messages the guy and he goes, hey, I'm Annie's boyfriend. Okay. I'm Annie's boyfriend. We have an open relationship. So this was like, it's all fine.
This is tremendous. Also, because it could all be true because it's Louis.
He's like, it's fine. No worries. Like, I'm not upset or anything, but like, I'm going to come grab her stuff.
No, that would, first of all, terrify this
so
guy.
Scary.
Yeah, like,
I mean, he was like the weakest. I mean, his wrists were like.
Anyway. Poor guy probably had nightmares.
He just wants to like eat his cashews. No. So he freaks out and he sends like the location of like at his Sprouts where he bought the The cashews. There was like a locker you could leave stuff. So he left the stuff in there.
Oh, that's smart. Yeah.
And
He
then
probably called a lawyer. What the fuck? Can you imagine?
Lewis is like,
I'll be right
just
over.
to let you know, I'm Puerto Rican if you're wondering.
I've never heard of a worse idea.
But I had to give Lewis half the money.
Saying that he was cool with his, like, this is disaster. What? He would have to be so much more mentally ill than he already was to not be alarmed by that.
I know. So I
gave him.
I had to give Lewis half the cash to do it.
He demanded half the cash.
Well, I was like, listen, I need help.
Yeah.
I need help.
Yeah, that's nice of you.
And it's Lewis. Come on.
Yeah, come on.
He could always use a few. Skankfest is wrecking him.
That's hilarious.
Are you going to Skankfest?
I am going to Skankfest. I'm going to bring my family, like a true.
That is really
juggling it all.
It's kind of the most Skankfest thing I've ever heard. You really belong.
You're right. If you're going to bring your family to Vegas for like a week for Skankfest, you are a skank. Yeah, you're more skank than mom. You're right.
You're also kind of a fest. You're kind of like, I'm always fun.
Yeah, I'm
fun mom.
Yeah, I'm going to bring everybody. Why not? But I never really understand what's going on during Skankfest.
Yeah.
I'm always very confused. There's a lot. And the way they really charge like the fucking streets, it seems so exhausting. And what's shocking to me is that like they're always look like they're storming the Capitol or whatever, and they're always got their shirts on their heads. Like it's a mixture of the outfit they had when they stormed the Capitol and like what boys would have before they wanted to hook up with girls. You know, when you like boys first and they always had those like t-shirt turbans on and they were like, that was like when I was trying to get them to kiss me and they weren't ready yet. That's how all the guys dress at Skankfest. And then they sit down and they're like, pretty nice audience member. I'm completely
they're kind
confused.
of the best, and it's crazy. Yeah, I'm like, I usually like would have security to keep you guys away from me, but you're being great.
Yeah, they're strangely like pretty good audiences, but I'm always like, it always just seems so exhausting. I'm like, they're always doing like a 3K outside for Lewis.
Yeah, I'm like, they're like, do you want to fist fight Kim Congdon? I'm like, what?
It always just seems like
no,
such a hassle.
It'll be like for charity. I'm like, what? What are you talking about? What the hell are you talking about?
I never related less to like the things that they want to do. Like I'm like not even in like if I became a meth addict and I might tomorrow, like if I was on every cocktail of the worst drug, I wouldn't want to do any of those things. Just like wrestling with food, like what a hassle.
Yeah, they're like,
hassle.
We're gonna find a female comedian. You're gonna wrestle her. You'll be in it. Don't worry, you'll be in a bikini. Yeah. And there's gonna be pudding. And you're not making $1. Is that okay? Is that fun? And it's gonna be real fighting. You'll lose a tooth. Like, oh, okay.
It's just a lot. It's not.
And it'll be the first night. It'll be the first night. You get a concussion the first night.
I'm
always like, just don't bump me because I've timed my acid. I'm always like, I've timed my acid.
Yeah.
So if they bump me and it'd always be like, do you mind if so-and-so goes up? They've got to go fist fight Kim Congdon. It's always like, that's always for like the fight or something. I'm like, I guess they can go up. And then by the time I'm on stage, I'm like, it was too late. It's too late.
Have you done stand-up on acid?
Yes, I have.
Amazing. How was it?
It's so weird. Well, I was in I guess all of the rooms are like a movie theater.
Yeah.
So I'm like, this is weird.
It's weird. It's like a strip mall and a movie theater at the same time. There's so many things going on.
It's so good.
Yeah. It's really fun, I will say. It's a good hang.
You know what I like? Yeah. I like that there's equal, like per capita, there's equal fans to people they've hired to use fentanyl strips in everyone's drugs. There's like a booth on every corner of someone like, we have fentanyl strips, please, no one die here.
Also, I kind of follow you around whenever I'm there. Like, I feel like I do that too a lot. Like, because I know that Annie is where like whatever is fun is happening. But it's a kind of like Sandy from Greece. Like, I always just feel like I'm always like, let's go. What's happening? Like, I'm always trying to understand it at the same time.
Where's my Rachel? I'm like, where's my Rachel? Did Rachel?
Because I want to hang. Like, I just want to go. And I know that Annie's doing whatever that is.
I'm doing what's possible.
I'm like, I know you're going to be having fun. And I do the same thing in LA. And I've never really asked permission. I just follow you into bathrooms. Like, will you do my hair crazy like? Like I'm always like on a sleepover with Annie that she didn't ask for.
I asked for it. Don't worry. I asked for it.
I do feel like I do kind of like, I'm like, okay, what's next?
No, I'm ready. I'm like, let's go. The itinerary is just, I think because we both have ADD too, so it's like we could go anywhere. We could go
And
anywhere.
I know you want to have fun in the same way that I did since I was a kid. Like I never really changed that. I'm always just kind of like, so I'm really in it for the hang. Like I'm like, that's what I've always been in it for. And I know that you're going to be doing whatever's like fun.
Yeah, no, we're not in it for the sets.
No, it's a fucking hassle. Yeah. That's a hassle. God. Yeah. And then like, I'll be at like the store where I still barely understand like what room is which one. I need like an escort. Yeah.
Oh my God. I saved her. So there's this guy that like had worked at the Comedy Store for like 1 minute. And I saw him like, it was right before you got passed. And I saw him like, start like talking to you and be like, start explaining the Comedy Store to you. And I'm like, I mean, I'm not even kidding. It was like maybe his second day. And I was like, I cannot have this moment where you just need to be talking to the people that are about to pass you and not this person.
Yeah.
Make you think that there's someone with any sort of power in this place or that they know anything about the history. I mean, I just remember like just going in and being like, you're wasting her time. Get away from her. Like people were like swarming you. I'm like, no. I will show her who to talk to.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny because when you said that to me the first time, I was like, oh, do I have the energy of like a girl that comes to LA thinking someone's going to put me in the pictures or something? Because she's like, he's not going to do anything for you.
I was like, this man can do nothing for you. Not that we need to talk to people that can do stuff for us, but it wasn't that you were giving that vibe off.
Okay, good.
I've
overthought that ever since.
No. Rachel, he was giving off that he was someone that was going to do something for you.
Ah, yes.
It wasn't you.
Okay, that makes me feel so much better.
No. I was looking at you like, okay, I'm Rachel's agent. This person is a mouth breather.
Yes. Yeah.
He's a leech. He's a clinger. But he was talking to you in a way that was like,
he was like explaining to me how things worked and stuff.
Like,
he like lifted my chin up. Yeah. Like
I was like, what? I mean, day 2. I knew it wasn't going to last more than 6 months. I was like, what are you doing? No, but you weren't giving off anything.
Good. Yeah. No, I have no end to the sentence, but yes.
No, I love the spinnies. Oh no. I went with TJ Miller to San Diego last weekend and he was like, you talk a lot of shit. And I didn't sleep for like 4 days, even though I know I talk a lot of shit, but I was like,
yeah,
but I was like, but so do you. But he's like, I have a brain injury. And I was like, oh. I was like, oh.
I'll spin anything. Yeah. I just overanalyze like one small social interaction and it'll drive me insane forever. And I also feel like when I'm in LA, I just kind of am always zooming in the wrong direction and people recognize my mistakes. I was telling you about this at the store. Like I'm always like leaving the store, but I'm like, am I supposed to go into the parking lot or the garage or like, and there's always somebody catching me to like, like asking me to report on what my choices are. And I'm like, can I just crouch and hide and do the wrong thing in LA right now? And someone's always like, are you trying to, what's here? I'm like, I have no plan. All right. I just want to hang and not annoy anyone.
And like, your knee makeup is smeared. The makeup you put on your knees is smeared.
Oh, it really is. Wait.
No, I'm joking. No, your knees look great. That's so funny to have a knee insecurity. I'm telling you that the best troll for a girl is to come up with a thing that's not real that we've never considered.
Yeah, brand new insecurities I've been gifted in the comment section. Somebody wrote a while ago, your arms are fatter than last week. I'm like, that's when it's time to your own life. Because if somebody's tracking my arm fat, like it's a wrap. It's over.
That's funny you said that because I was trying to remember. I was like, somebody recently was saying some insecurity where I was like, you can release this insecurity because it's not a thing.
Yeah.
But it was the arm fat. She was like afraid of her arm fat.
I did ask my brother, luckily, like I wore short sleeves after that guy wrote that after Johnny Boy 69.
Yeah, I know. It's always like,
I like changed my wardrobe.
It's always dick butter. You're like,
anyone that's always like all these to all my haters out there, I'm living my best life, I'm a strong something. No, to all my haters out there, you inform me every day of my self-esteem and you are my truth. I don't have one. You're it. Yeah, I have nothing else but the comment section.
What did your brother say?
I was telling him about the arm guy that said your arms are fatter than last week, which is hilarious, by the way. It's good writing. I'll give him that. And
it's just DeRosa trolling us.
I know.
It just sounds like a regular Sunday chatting with DeRosa.
And my brother was like, arms aren't a thing. Like he's probably not straight because like guys don't talk about arms. He's like, straight guys don't really get into like arms. No. Yeah, they'd have to be like real major side whales for him to have any real comments about it.
It's really not. Yeah, none of it's a thing. But the like this girl was like talking about like the fat on the side of your arms, and it's like that's like middle school shit. I mean, it's like when you're picking.
You're right. It is middle school stuff because I still remember when Wesley Tibbs walked me home from school and he said that I thought he was going to kiss me, and instead he stopped in front of my face and said, "There's this little space at the top of your thighs that's bigger than the rest of it. It doesn't make sense because it's so big up top, and the rest of it's like a normal thigh." And that was the moment where things kind of turned. Yeah. I went in and like wailed wildly in my room. I was like, ah, like screamed, cried.
Okay, so I think the reason why the armpit fat thing has been something I've always had to release is because on the bus in 5th grade, Robert Daniele said in front of everyone, he goes, "Yo, Annie, it looks like your right guard took a left," because I had really sweaty armpits.
That's a good line.
It was really good. It echoes in my mind. And I have sweaty armpits, so then I had to wear sleeveless shirts for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
You'll never catch a sleeve on me.
Really?
unless it's black.
But also I feel like so what? So you had a smear of deodorant was what he was saying?
No.
Yeah.
I have sweaty armpits. Like it will go down to like here.
Oh.
Fight or flight. It's fun being in fight or flight at all times.
Oh, this is so sweet.
Cute.
Will you tell me that he never does this, please? Can
Randy,
I write
it's
you guys a
Mother's
compliment?
Day. He wants you to feel good on Mother's Day.
Aww.
Give him a little nip.
I
Oh, that's so cute.
love you. This is
this is actually extra cute.
Wait, will you please tell me that he doesn't do this?
He doesn't do this where he's like hugging her. Look, he's literally treating her like a mother.
Oh, because he knows I want
He
to.
knows.
Yeah. This is so sweet.
Do you think your husband faked getting injured so he didn't have to come with you?
Probably.
Because Todd got a bunch of reptiles, so he didn't have to go on the road with me. He's like, I love reptiles.
I've called every day this week, and I'm like, just fly out just for, because he said she has to go and check to the medical offices on Monday. I'm like, just fly out Friday and come back Sunday. And he's like, oh, I'll check the flights. And I'm like, I'm checking them. And he's like, I'll call. He just keeps telling me to call him back in like 2 hours, but we know he's not coming out, you know? Which is actually the same thing a guy used to do to me. Like, there was this guy I had a crush on in 8th grade, and he would always go, I'd call him again and again. And every time I called him, he'd go, just call me back in 2 hours. And I would wait like the dumbest hole alive. I would like watch the clock and I'm like, okay, it's 2 p.m. It's time to call Sean King again. And now my husband's doing that to me. Call me
Sean
back
King,
in 2 hours.
the BLM.
Oh my God, he had the same name. I should change it, but he should.
Guys, it's your girl. I got the best. Don't look at my suitcase on the ground, okay? I have cute skin because I don't worry about things like putting my clothes away. I don't care. You guys, my skin looks so good. I'm so proud of it. I keep waiting to wake up and be like, it's gone, but OneSkin is keeping my skin look so fresh and so young. I have no injections, nothing. It's just OneSkin. Here I am, living proof that a topical peptide is where it's at, okay? I've tried a lot of skincare and OneSkin is it. It's free from over 1,500 chemicals and preservatives that can make your skin red, irritated, itchy. You don't want that flaky, crusty skin, okay? I've never had that and I never will because OneSkin hooks it up. It's perfect for those allergy sufferers and people, just with the sensitive skin. Can't take a joke. OneSkin is the first and only company to target cellular aging. Using the OS1 peptide, OneSkin reverses skin's biological age and reduces the number of aged skin cells by up to 50%. Don't I look 20? I look 20 years old. Don't just use the products that make your skin look better, but up the ante and hang on to your youth with OneSkin. I am clinging to my youth, you guys, clinging to it. I will not look old until I absolutely have to. OneSkin is the world's first skin longevity company. By focusing on the cellular aspects of aging, OneSkin keeps your skin looking and acting younger for longer. That is all we're trying to do, right? Get started today with 15% off using the code Annie at oneskin.co. That's 15% off oneskin.co with code Annie. Make sure to tell them that we sent you. Shout out to Astepro for sponsoring this episode and providing the show with free samples. Look, I am an allergy girl. It's so embarrassing. I'm an allergy girly. I was the kid in school that blew snot bubbles. It was so embarrassing, and I'm so glad to have Astepro right now. I have one in each of my pockets. I just put them everywhere. I travel so much. It's so embarrassing to have allergies on an airplane. People just assume you're sick. They assume you're flying sick, you're getting them sick, and it's like guys, if you show them the Astepro in the beginning of the flight, it will have kicked in by the time you land and you'll be fine and they'll be like, okay. because I just can't handle it. My people pleasing just cannot handle that situation. But I would give Astepro a shot because this season has been wild for me. And I have to record things, I have to do stuff. It's like, I am busy. I'm on camera, I'm talking, so I can't be all stuffed up and sniffling. It looks insane. Astepro is the first of its kind nasal allergy spray. Other nasal allergy sprays take hours to kick in, but with this stuff, it starts working in 30 minutes, which is great when I have to record a podcast or just breathe the outside air in general. It's the fastest 24-hour over-the-counter allergy spray, and it's the first and only 24-hour steroid-free allergy spray. It delivers full prescription-strength indoor and outdoor allergy relief from nasal congestion, runny and itchy nose, and sneezing. Get fast-acting nasal allergy symptom relief with Astepro. Go to asteproallergy.com for a discount so you can Astepro and go today. ASTEPRO allergy.com. That's asteproallergy.com. Astepro and go. Use as directed for relief of nasal congestion, runny nose, sneezing, and itchy nose due to allergies. Let's not be the snot bubble babies. Randy, crazy boy.
Yeah, he would tell me to, every time I called him, he'd tell me to call him back in
that's
two
so
hours.
funny.
That's so funny.
He didn't want to get off your lap.
Aww.
He got mad at Todd. No, so Robert Daniele, the right guard, took a left guy. I egged his house. That's the only house I ever egged, and I felt so guilty. I egged the house, then I just saw his mom come out and look, and I was like, oh, his mom's just gonna clean it. I should have it's not like you can write on the egg, this is for you, Robert.
This isn't for you, Kathy.
Make sure your son cleans this. I was like, that's the meanest thing I ever did.
Yeah, we used to I did some bad things too. I mean, we used to go car shopping. I still feel horrified by that. We just open people's cars and take stuff we didn't need. I'm really sorry. I took some poor lady's golf clubs when I was 14. And I've never played golf in my life. I know that. It's so terrible.
I remember I went to my neighbor's house and his mom had a lot of tchotchkes. She just had a lot of knickknacks. And I just took this little clip thing. It was a little koala bear clip. And I just took it. And then I was back at my house. I was oh, I took this one. I was why would you do that? I was no. And
I did a lot of that when I was a kid too. I did some lifting too because you wanted it. You wanted it really bad. That's kind of cute. A little kid taking a clip. That's not too bad.
I was 15. It was I didn't want the clip. It was just it was I was this.
You wanted the thrill of stealing
but
it?
I liked
that's
shoplifting.
what Norman always says. That's why he steals, which is fascinating.
It was fun to shoplift from malls and stuff until I got caught. Then it was really fun.
I never wanted to wear my glasses because I thought they were heinous. But I couldn't see. I was legally blind. So I would shoplift and they would just be looking at me while I was doing it. I got caught a couple times.
You're I thought I paid for this.
Yeah, I was just making eye contact with this lady. I never knew where anybody was because I was just, things were always a complete blur.
I keep thinking about the pantyhose for the audition.
It's so dark,
I can't think of how many things I went and bought for audition.
I know, and I didn't get a single one.
I'm oh, the blue shirt will be the thing.
That's going to be the thing. I always get a bright blue shirt. I'm then they'll think I'm castable. But they know it's beneath it. They know I'm a deep, deep pig.
Well, now when I audition for things, because everything's self-taped, I just do it in the reptile room with all these plants behind me, and I'm isn't that cooler than?
I love that you call it a reptile room. That's memorable. I think that's a very good idea.
Room.
Oh, there is a real reptile
tons
room.
of reptiles, yeah.
Oh, I thought you called this area.
No,
you just had a fun-loving name for it. Oh.
No, it's not funny. I'm hey guys, check out Anniewood.
I thought I was I should have known. She's going to know I don't watch enough because I would have known it's called the reptile room.
Oh my God.
I tried to go with it for a second.
When people tell me that, when my comedian friends tell me they watch my show, I'm are you?
I just watch clips. Yeah, I have no time to.
That's all we should be doing anyway.
Yeah, right?
No,
yeah.
That's insane. It would be psychotic.
Yeah, I don't think
a few of my friends that I guess I was really close with, but we don't live in the same place anymore sometimes. But Josh Potter, our friend Josh, will be I heard them oh my God.
Yeah, and I would get, and also after I would whenever I'm here, I'll have weird dreams too. Now I'm getting more used to LA, but it used to be that I would have just these dreams of making a fool of myself in some way or I just already regretted going into this because it's so
But isn't
strange.
it funny that our job is literally to just be foolish anyway?
I know. Yeah, it's I already did. It's over. The worst thing happened, which is me on stage saying unspeakable things. It's over. Everyone knows you're not good. But no, I'll have dreams where I'm already regretting talking about this, but I have these dreams where they're sex dreams, but they're with where everybody knows that I had sex and it's with somebody that I'm in no way attracted to. Like they're deeply heinous.
Yeah.
And it's all, and like sometimes it'll be in a public space, like an impediment for somebody else getting things done. Like my history teacher, not name dropping, Alberta Magnesian,
Wow.
from my like senior year history teacher who was like violently old. Like she's absolutely dead by now, you know? And she was like 86 and no, she didn't teach history. She taught NSL government and she just really cracked a whip when it came to NSL. Like she just really ran a tight ship. She was always angry at me. She had white hairs in her ears. And I just have this dream that I like, am just going down on her, like in a public space, just going to town. Alberta's badge. And everyone's like, excuse me, I need to order something from the bar. And I'm like, I'm almost done. Like I always have these dreams when I'm like afraid of embarrassing myself. Yeah, that I'm just
I had a dream where I hooked
out
up with one of my teachers. It was my teacher from middle school. He was actually like one of my only good teachers. Like I had so many like terrible teachers. But I had this teacher, Mr. Jones, in I think it was 6th grade, my math teacher. And he was really cool. He like made nicknames for all of us. I was brought up Quaker, so he called me Oats. Like there was this girl Karen Dreyer, he called her Washer. Like he just had like funny nicknames. For us. Yeah, it was like he was like a cool teacher. And then except he was really into taxidermy. and so a girl's in the classes dad was a butcher, so she brought him like a cow head once. But it was still like it was very gross.
Oh, it was like there was like
opened like a decapitated. And I remember Sammy Eisman just, I like saying all these middle school names. I can't believe I remember all these people.
It's fun because you do remember.
She just puked all over the floor. And then, of course, we made fun of her.
I love that somebody just brought a cow.
It was
like
crazy. He showed us. I think I had a lot of trouble.
How did she get her mitts on some fucking freshly killed cow?
It was her dad was a butcher and she brought it.
Her dad was a butcher. You just said that. See my ADD? Like.
I mean, and maybe her nickname was Cowhead. I don't know what he called her.
And then what did he do? What was his response to the bloody cow?
I think he realized, he showed all of us. He went, look, guys, isn't this amazing?
And then she puked
everywhere. And then I think he thought, like, oh, God, this might be, like, really bad. But I had a section about him, like, you know, like when I was a grown-up. And he was, like, not, he was,
attractive.
Like, a great, no, he was, like, fine. But I was, like, 6th grade. So I wasn't there.
Yeah.
But, he had a slit tongue like a snake and tried to make out with me. And I like put that on him in my memories. Like, that he was like a perv, but he wasn't.
It's funny how you'll like make somebody something they aren't in a dream. And then you do wake up with those feelings of like weird, kind of like guilt, like you should apologize to them or something.
Well, I do like sometimes Todd breaks up with me in my dreams and I am like, I wake up a little wounded.
I always dream about that too, about Pete like dumping me or like losing a baby in like a gym or something, like a high school gym. I'm always like, fuck, did somebody put that baby in a basket somewhere? Is it like, I'm always looking for a baby in like multiple canisters.
My anxiety baby dream is so bad. Okay, so first it's the anxiety of being pregnant, right? I'm like, I'm pregnant. Oh. And then I like have the baby, but then I eat it. It's like a chicken or something. Like, and I'm like, oh, it's just a chicken. I can eat it. And then I eat it. And then I'm like, oh my God, that was my baby. I ate my baby. Like you can't uneat your baby.
Eat it is fascinating. Somebody needs to tell us what that means.
I know. I'm like,
that's definitely some shit that you snack on it by accident.
I'm scared. I don't want this baby. Then I'm like, oh, I have this baby. Then I'm like, oh, you eat it. And then you question. It is protein. It is a protein source. And then, and then I'm so panicked because I thought like you could reverse the eating of the baby. And then and
they're like, no, not at all. What did it say? Dreaming about eating a baby could be a warning to focus on your creations and to protect your energy and future from people who can harm it or just waste your time. That's
do you mind leaving? I pronounced her last name on purpose.
By the way, that's like an answer that every psychic says about everybody. Because everyone feels like people aren't protecting their energy. They're like, there's somebody in your orbit that wants something from me.
And then they're like, I can break the curse. Yes. I can break the spell if you come to me. I remember I went to the psychic. Because I'll go to I'll get tarot cards read and stuff, but it has to be someone recommended or whatever.
Yes, yeah. I'm up for all that nonsense too.
But I have to be in a very low.
Yeah.
Like when I'm doing well, a tarot card reading's not gonna work. It's not gonna hit.
Right.
I'm like, what is this?
Me too. But I have to be like throbbing with desperation.
If I'm like, there's 3 options and I don't know what to choose, I'm like, why don't I ask this man? Ask the cards.
What's the craziest thing in doing that? Because I'm up for all that kind of stuff too. what is the craziest thing that somebody's told you that where you're like, because usually it's like, you know, it's like there's somebody
I'm
with a
gonna
J in your life.
I'm naming a
that's-
name.
Yeah.
I'm naming a name.
Yeah, please tell me.
Well, I'll name after. Well, no, I'll name now. Jessica Delfino. Do
Okay.
you remember her?
Yes.
Okay, so she was, when I started comedy, she had been doing comedy. She was like a guitar comic, I think.
Uh-huh.
She had been doing comedy for like 5-10 years or something before me.
Mhm.
So then I start comedy and I'm like up for Montreal. So it's like, I'm 2 years in, I'm like up to do Montreal Comedy Festival, which was a thing that used to exist that was important. It felt like a big deal. But so she's doing tarot cards at some like comedy event.
Uh-huh.
And she's like doing my cards and she goes, so like, what's like a career thing that you want? And I'm like, I don't really want to say, like,
Mhm.
I don't want to tell like another comic who I don't know and I'm not friends with what my goals
next
are.
goal
I mean, it's
is,
like,
yeah.
I'd rather be just, I mean, there's anything. You could ask me literally like what my vagina
Anything.
looks like, anything, like anything you want, you can ask me except this. And she's like, it's fine. No, just like, what, is there something like you're up for that you want? And I was like doing my callbacks. I was like, well, you know, like I just did my callback from Montreal. She reads it and she goes, you're not going to get it.
What a twat.
And I was like, oh, well, tarot's fake, you know? But then it kind of was like in my head, I was like, wait, am I not going to get it? And then I got it. And then like a few years later, I was like, oh, you know, I got Montreal that year. And she was like, oh, it's all made up. I just made it up. I was like, why did you make it up that I wasn't getting it?
She said that?
Yes.
Oh my God.
I was like,
that is insane.
well,
That
maybe
is-
she was saying you're going to bomb when you do get it because that did come
And
true.
did you have to do another audition at that point? Like, or were you
No,
already,
it was
you'd already
already-
done your
I'd
audition,
already
you were
done
just
it.
waiting. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so fucked up.
was
Yeah.
so
That's
funny.
not good. I mean, like, I feel like also in those situations, like it just, yeah, don't ask too heavy of a question. My friend, she does stuff with like crystals and she like has a necklace that she holds, but she drinks a lot of red wine. So she always has like red wine teeth and she's always like dangling a necklace. She's very funny. She's a comedian.
It's like-
Irene Bremis.
It would be
Hilarious.
like right means yes,
Yes.
left means.
But she'll do it with me like in a cab. She'll be like, sweetie. And I'm like, but the car is moving. Yeah, she set me up with my husband. She's hilarious. She has a special out on
Wait, can
Amazon.
I?
Irene
This is
Bremis.
actually, I know what this is. This is edible arrangements. Hello?
Ooh.
It's Mother's Day, everybody, and I bought my mom edible arrangements.
Oh, you're such a
I always
good
get her those.
daughter.
My mom joined my swim team when I was little.
She joined.
Yeah.
This says a lot.
She joined my swim team. I've been trying to talk about it on stage because it's like, I don't even know what angle.
I don't
It's so
even know what
shocking.
to-
Like the audience is like shocked. Like I'm like,
Well, yeah, because there's a lot of different aspects of this that are I mean, there's a lot of layers. First of all, it's like who allowed that? Like
okay.
what kind
She found a loophole.
Let's start with the legality.
She found a loophole. So they have on the swim team, they have 8 and under.
Uh-huh.
They have, I think it's 12 and under, 14 and under, and then they have unlimited, which is 15 plus, but it's supposed to be like 15, 16, maybe 17.
Was your mom like the kind of woman that was trying to like look hot at a party? Was she
No.
doing like whore crawls at
Nope.
like parties? No.
Nope, not at all. Had no care of her looks in any way.
Interesting. My mom was the same way. She had like 2 pieces of makeup and they were like moldy.
No, my mom would be like, I'm allergic to your makeup. I'm like, you're not allergic to my makeup.
Yeah.
She'd be like, my mom would be like, you look like a tart. I'm like, what?
So what was it that she wanted to be on the swim team? That's so
I
insane.
don't know. I honestly don't. I don't understand why. Like she was like, oh, I think one of the other dads did it. My mom was always like, she was like, you know, when I was a kid, they wouldn't let girls like play sports. So I would like put she's adopted too.
Mhm.
That
Aw.
kind of answers
Cute.
it. But she's like, I'd put my hair in like a baseball hat and I'd like go try to play like baseball at the park and everyone would be like, girls can't play, scram. Like, I think that was a league of their own, but
So, so she wanted to relive a chapter that she
Yeah.
didn't get in her life.
yes.
And nobody flagged this. No one
It
was,
was,
like, the answer is a hard no.
I mean, it was so embarrassing.
Was she swimming by you? Was your mom just butterflying next?
Well, I was in a younger thing, so she was just racing me like 15.
Nothing, by the way, makes
Losing,
me happier
too.
than crazy parent stories,
Yeah.
like when you're a kid and your
Yeah.
parents humiliated you. Like this is why I like I never watched like stand-ups. Like I never studied stand-up, but I like people that tell stories about being
Yes, yes.
humiliated as kids. That's all I'm fascinated. Or like weird shit people's parents said to them, like wildly inappropriate shit. That's
But
hilarious.
when you look back on some things, like when my mom called me a tart when I went to, she dropped me off at the mall.
Mm-hmm.
I was like 12 and I went to bed. No, it was Body Works. Body Shop.
Body Shop.
Body Shop had like a makeup counter, you
Body
sample
Works.
stuff you could play with. So I like did my eyeliner and stuff. I never wore makeup. My mom's like, you look like a tart. As a kid, I was like, what's a tart? And she was like, it's a prostitute. And then I was like, my feelings were hurt. As an adult, looking back, that's like such a funny thing to say to a kid. Like
I
as
don't
an
think
adult,
she meant
I'm like,
hooker though. Like I feel
no,
like
she did. She clarified.
did?
She said it's a prostitute. I was like, what's a tart? Just like a prostitute.
She said a hooker.
I was like,
By
what's
the
a
way, if it makes you
prostitute?
feel better, my mom used to like, I would get dressed. My dad's like emotionally a desert, like my husband. And my mom would take me to like Contempo Casuals at the mall and
Yes,
Body
I got
Works.
caught shoplifting from
Yeah.
there.
And you did?
Oh, I stole the best butterfly.
Shout out freaking Contempo.
That's right.
So my mom would take me to Contempo Casuals, and she came back and she was like, "Go show your dad your outfit." Now my dad is like, you know, definitely like autistic. My friend was like, yeah, he's like never said I love you, called me Roxanne. There's no Roxanne in our family. Like he'd be like, Roxanne, but there was no Roxanne, like he's completely insane, but like brilliant, but like not, doesn't connect. So like his hugs are like a disaster. It's just like this weird flailing thing. So she brings me back and she tells me, go show your dad, like, your outfit or whatever. So I go into the kitchen and my dad's like, I'm like, here, I was 15. My dad goes, oh, like a ballerina, or like, and she's like, she doesn't want to be a ballerina anymore. He's like, oh, a cowgirl then. And then my mom's like, she doesn't. Yeah, she probably remembered like when I was 4 that I wanted to look like a cowgirl or something. And then my dad thinks for a second and goes, oh, I don't know, Karen, she looks good. Like the girls at the gas stations where they grease them up and they lay on the cars and stuff. And then he just stood there and we were all just like, but like, if you hear that story, you're like, oh, is he? But no, he just didn't know what he was supposed to say. He's like, the greased horse and they're laying on top of the cars like that.
But it's just so, I also think like my mom probably didn't have that many female friends. So it's like, that's something you would say, like, your friend, you're like, my daughter, like, doesn't make up like a fucking tart.
A tart is funny. It's a
hilarious word. She used to say,
I kind of respect that she said tart.
No, I like it now. Looking back, I'm like, that's so funny. And then I had this friend who was like such a slut. Turns out, of course, she was just like borderline personality or something. But she got on lithium pretty young. But she was like, when we were like 12, she was getting caught like having sex with her boyfriend and at school and rooms and stuff. And my mom was always like, well, your friend's porking her boyfriend. Like she would just say stuff like that. And it was funny. It was like, she gave me like a vocabulary that.
Porking, I remember when I first learned that word, it was like so exhilarating and terrifying at the same time. Like porking is somehow more foul than every other word about fucking. It's just disgusting.
Can I pork you?
It's so dumb. And there's probably somebody that's actually said that as they're hitting on a woman.
And it might be a firefighter, not to
hey,
be
you want to pork? It definitely was. Yeah. Like want to pork is the dumbest thing. If somebody involved that in dirty talk, how do you not just stop and laugh? Like, can I pork you? Really
I've
funny.
always been very open to laughter and jokes during
I joke like
sexual situations. They don't like it, but
yeah, I joke like right afterwards.
That's nice of you.
Yeah, I have a joke about this, but I always like pour change on my husband afterwards. I like to throw coins at him on his flaccid, dumb body. I do that, or I'll be like, I have jokes about both of these things, but we're on the subject, but I just have to say that. But like right after he comes, I like to be like, that's not the amount we've agreed upon. I like to pretend like I have to measure the cum or that it was like too much or that we're going to have to circle back about it. I have a lot of skits afterwards and he's usually left the room. Like he wants none of my nonsense.
We know how to walk a bedroom too.
But it is funny immediately afterwards and during. Every part of it is a lot of foolishness. It's a lot of foolishness.
It's a ridiculous thing.
But porking is the best word
Porking's
ever.
number 1.
Slam rod is also pretty stupid.
Slam rod. I've never even heard
Yeah,
that.
or rod. Want a rod?
Rod. Todd, what do you got? Got any good ones?
I don't got any good ones.
You don't got no good ones?
I got no good ones.
That probably like for having sex.
Like a good sex line?
I'm not like good at sex at all. Nobody's ever told me that.
Like, wow, you're amazing.
No one's been able to look me in the eyes and give me any kind of compliment.
There's no way. There's no way I'm good in bed. There's no way. the amount of things going on in my head are
Yeah,
like,
forget
there's
it.
no way.
Yeah.
There's no
There's not a chance in hell. And even the nicest guys haven't been able to like carry out that lie. Like they
I'm just
can't.
like, you're not with me for this part.
No.
You're with me for the other parts.
Yeah, I'm a fun-loving time. I know why you're
Yeah.
around. Yeah, like you can catch a laugh. Like my mother-in-law said that too. She was like, Peter always had the most gorgeous girlfriends. But with you, he had a chuckle. He laughed. Like I'm like, yeah. She always tells me about
She's like,
how
oh, chuckle
hot.
knees over here.
She always tells me how hot his ex-girlfriends are. She was like,
So
but he was
weird.
bored. He was bored, but they were just gorgeous.
I had
Just
a boyfriend
gorgeous.
whose mom used to bring his ex-girlfriends up all the time and I would just be like, it wasn't even like, I didn't care. It was just sort of like,
Yeah, it was a
but
little
I also
unnecessary.
wasn't there. I don't like,
Yeah.
she's talking about a part of a life I have nothing to do with.
Yeah, I mean, my husband he was engaged before we were engaged, and I didn't realize this, but he doesn't like talk about anything. So I
Yeah.
like found out from other members of his family, and then I asked him about it, and they called him Slippery Pete, like leading up to the wedding, because they were like, "Is anyone's cousin? Like, is he gonna try to like duck out?"
He's runaway groom.
Yeah, and then I asked him like, "What happened with this girl?" And he said, I don't know, little things, and I was like what? And one of them was that she left coffee grinds around the counter. He's like, coffee grounds. I'm like, I leave coffee grounds all over the counter. Yeah.
It's hard as someone with ADD to hear those sort of things too, because you're like, the amount of, every time someone's mad at me, it's just my ADD. I'm always like,
me too.
But then you don't want to say it because then you're like, it sounds like a cop out, but it's like, it is.
But it is. It is. It's very hard to have. It's very hard. Like Pete always asks me, like, just put your keys in the same spot or just do it like that. I'm like, you're assuming that my hands, like, I know what my hands are doing. Like, this is what it feels like to have ADD.
I know.
Your hands take trips throughout the day. I don't know what the they are. They could be in a house for all I know. Like, they just take trips and you don't know where they went. Yeah.
Todd, okay, we have one garage opener, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And if we don't have the garage opener, we don't have my car. Like, we don't get the car. It's just not there.
No, yeah.
It's just
I'm like,
not gonna
don't give me room
happen.
keys. That's on you. If you gave me a room key, that's on you.
Oh, the amount of room I get,
Forget
I'm like,
it.
they're like,
Yeah.
do you want one or two? I'm like, can I have 7? Just put them in every pocket of every pair of jeans I brought. Yeah, no, so I'm like, if I have to take the garage key and Todd goes, where's the garage key? There's a moment where we look at each other and we go, oh no. Because I'm like, I have no clue.
It's anyone's guess. No.
It could be in the refrigerator. I have no
Me
clue.
too. And by the way, I have done that. I've put house keys in the fridge. And I once, first of all, I would go to school, my back fully wet every day. Okay. I didn't couldn't pull off drying my hair. So my hair was always slicked back and I was dripping. And then people at school would call me wetback. And my mom's like, they're using racial slurs on her. And I was like, no, they're trying to give me a heads up. I always had a wet back.
Yeah. They're like,
And I just kind of was like, oh, it's kind of my thing. And like a few friends were like, yeah, that's not at all. Like you can't just be dripping. Your back cannot be dripping. But it's very hard.
I kind of don't want to be around people that don't have ADD because I don't understand. It's like
they don't understand.
They don't get it, and they think you're being so rude, and you're like, it's like it didn't even. But then the excuse is like, it didn't occur to me, and they're like, why wouldn't that have occurred to you? I'm like, because there's like birds chirping in my head. There's like fish swimming around. Like there's a fish tank inside my head. I don't. The fish are dead. I forgot to feed them.
I've left like an entire suitcase just at the airport, like just flown to Florida. My suitcase is at LAX, like the whole suitcase, like a bag with a laptop, like at a gate. Like it's very confusing and derailing. And then when you have a kid, it's even crazier because there's like a bottle of milk in my bag. And it's like, and I always thought like, I always equated like, oh, when I'm an adult, I always liked the way like other ladies' things looked because my friends and I would get the same thing or like a similar present or something in a goodie bag and mine would be like immediately rancid, just disgusting, right? And hers would remain like pristine or whatever. And I was like, oh, one day like I'll be a woman and I'll have a dresser that looks like a lady's dresser. And there'll just be clean things on top of it and like a brush and like, my friend had this like hot Latina mom. I just remember how clean her makeup looked. Like my bag is like full of foundation. It's just a liquid
everything's
sack.
covered. I was like cleaning the bathroom because you were coming over and I have like a nose spray that's like, there's like gum stuck to it. There's like makeup, and I'm not like throw this one out. I'm like, it hasn't had a lid for
nothing
weeks.
has lids. My friend was like, all your problems would be solved if you would just close. I'm like, I don't know what my hands are doing. They could be be closing things. They could be doing lines. I don't know where they are.
No, I
Yeah,
know.
you don't know where your
Everything's
hands are.
open. Every
Yes.
cabinet's open.
She's like, just start with the word close. Just close things, close exchanges, close tops. She's like, and you do another thing where you put stuff. This is my friend who I was roommates with. She's like, you put things in a place before they're going to go in the place. There's like a holding place before they go in the actual place. I'm like, I do that. Like, I'm like, oh, I'll put this here until I put it back, as if I'm going to make a second lap. It's so crazy, but it's exhausting.
I could never be friends with, or could never room with people. I couldn't have like roommates. I had to have guy roommates because female roommates I could not.
Yeah, no.
Sustain. The friendship's over. They were like, how dare you?
I had 2 female roommates, and they would get mad at me all the time. Like, I was terrified of them because they were always mad at me about an ADD related thing. I once took the home phone, and this was like, I was like 20 years old, and I just brought it to my nanny job, and they were like, you can't take the phone. Like, you just can't take the phone. It was just in my bag.
When they took the cord off the phone, my life got very difficult.
It's very confusing,
when
right?
they took the cord off the phone, and I'm telling you, the headphones, like, I need the leash again. I need the leash because I will open up my AirPods and there'll be one in there. I'm like, where's the other one?
Yeah.
And I'll be like checking, it'll be like in the shirt, like the top pocket of a shirt. I'm like, why did I do that?
And do you buy so much stuff? Because I'm always losing everything. So I just buy it. And just like, I'm always at a CVS.
I'm just trying to like do a thing cleanse where I'm like, you can't buy things anymore because there's too many things. There's just things falling. I'm tripping over things. Everything's dirty. Things are stuck together.
Yeah, it's not
I'm always
good.
looking for a thing.
It's not good. I sent like a dirty picture to the wrong person once. It's just a lot.
It's just everything's so horrible.
Yeah.
But yeah, like my fans will be like, we want to see you do like a makeup tutorial. And I'm like, okay, fine, I'll go on live. And then it's like, everything's so crusty. I'm like, they're like, show us the tube. I'm like, you like put it in front of your hand.
Yeah, my bag is foul. It's not a lady's bag. It's a disgusting swamp. But yeah, back to our parents. We had very similar parents.
Yes,
your parents were very liberal.
very liberal.
My parents were liberal too.
Where it's like, it becomes to the point where it's like, you're actually embarrassing me. Like,
yes.
My mom like wanted me to have a black boyfriend so bad that when I was dating Marcus Dupre, who was on our baseball team, we carpooled, obviously Puerto Rican. I overheard her telling my Quaker friends, parents, that I had a black boyfriend. I was like,
that's all my mom wants too.
I was like, Mom.
And she only my mom connects only over. She'll always take the guy's side if he's not white of any breakup I've ever had. She's always there for some reason they're like multi-generational, like racial trauma is brought into the breakup. She's always like, well, he was incarcerated, remember, at one point, or his mother was incarcerated at one point during the tenure of her life because of this damn system, which is flipping rigged. And I'm like, my friend, you're my mom, you my friend. And she's just like, Rachel, hold on. We were once in a cab once. She was visiting me in New York and I was arguing with the cab driver because he was just like taking us all around and trying to run up the thing. And she's like, when we get out of the cab, she's like, please remember that he is a Muslim American. First of all, you can't say Muslim. That's the Klansy way to say it. She's like, he's a Muslim American and there is a history there that you want to keep present when you're having this exchange. I'm like, he doesn't even know where the I'm from, Mom. And it almost becomes racist because
like, I don't
you're
want to be
thinking about someone's race.
Yes, exactly.
Like whenever my mom's talking to my mother-in-law who's Colombian, she's not just talking to Maria. She's like, her inner monologue is like, I'm talking to a Colombian woman. Like she's so invigorated. Like she's doing a Latin jig in her own mind. She's so excited if anybody's not white. And she loves to tell me about her gay friends in Greenwich Village. She's always like, Art and his partner live in Greenwich Village and they are big fans of what you do. And they're just funky.
Has multiple friends who are men that had gave birth to babies.
Yeah, nothing makes my mom happier than that story. And I'm like, Mom, that's not a story. Yeah.
My mom goes, do you know that Jack used to be a woman? I'm like, yes, Mom. I know that Jack used to be a woman. She's 9 months pregnant. He's 9 months pregnant. Jack is 9 months pregnant. Yes, I know that when he was born, his gender that was assigned to him was female. His water is breaking in front of him.
Yeah, my mom is like, those are her favorite stories, just anything like that. And when we were like kids, she was a therapist and she would always just tell me the weirdest, like no boundaries at all. Just that like, I took a trip with her once. She came with me because I was supposed to play this college and we're like about to fall asleep. And my mom was like, honey, and I'm like, yeah. And she goes, did I tell you that Carol Baum's bipolar? I'm like, not now. Can't we have a normal mom weekend? She's like, well, she's acting out sexually, Rachel. Like it's always just way too much. Like I would never be able to just go on a normal play date. My mom picked me in the play date and she was like, did I ever tell you that Sandra was and that it ruined her sex life? And I'm like, no, I'm like, I want a snack. I want a fruit roll up. She picked me up from a play date and said
I'm
that.
hungry.
Yeah. And she's like, but she and her second marriage to Sundar, which she loves to say the name Sundar. Like she'll talk about him all day. She doesn't even know this man. She just knows his name is Sundar and she wants to say it again and again and again and just blast herself all day long to that name. She's like, well, she didn't, he never forgived himself for not being able to protect his wife, but with her next husband, Sundar, he always made her feel safe. And she was able to open up sexually again. I'm like, okay, I'm 8 years old. I'm 8. You're a psychopath.
My mom would do things like she would we got these like matching hats. And I was like a little older, like when we were like, I was like 20 or something. We went, and we got these like funny matching hats and we wear them or whatever. And I'd like come over and be like, where's my hat? There's only one. And she'd be like, oh, I gave it to the girl. I told you the girl we met at Landmark who had a stroke, right? She just, it's like, no, it's like our friendship hat now. I'm like, why didn't you just get another hat with her? Why did you give her my mother-daughter hat? It was like the value of the hat is that it's our hat. She would like give my things. I'm like, what the hell? Why did you give our sentimental mother-daughter hat?
That is, and I relate so much. And I wonder if it has to do with us being comics. Like my mom always can't relate to me. She has to introduce somebody else's trauma that I don't know.
She's
to
like,
relate
she had a
to
stroke.
Me.
I'm like, Mom,
Yeah.
I honestly, I've never met this person. It's crazy she's wearing my property.
Yeah. And my mom doesn't relate unless she does that. So if you tell her anything, like I told her about my own miscarriage and somehow like I was hearing about somebody else's like generational trauma who I've never met from work. She can't just say, I'm so sorry to my own daughter that you experienced that. Yeah, she has to bring in a whole Black family.
Well, I had a little court situation with my teacher in high school. And my parents, like, whenever I bring it up, they're like, well, that happens in all the schools. I go, yes, but we're talking about my school and me. Like, she'll be like, she's like, you should do a documentary about how that happens to other people. And I'm like,
you should do a documentary about how that happens to other people, says everything in the world.
I'm like, it's just.
It's so interesting. Like, my friend told me this because like, she's like, oh, she had an alcoholic parent, which is true, but so did everybody. But like, she was like, she had an alcoholic parent, so she could only, it's trauma bonding. Jessica Curson told me that actually. She's like, it's trauma bonding. That's why they can only relate through like introducing a third party's trauma to whatever you're saying to them. But it's interesting because she, if I tell her something really upsetting happened to me, she'll kind of go blank. But if it's anybody, but she loves to talk about racial suffering of a stranger. And my husband calls it pain chambering. Well, we both do. And so she'll follow Pete around the house and try to pain chamber him. And he's the opposite. Like he's a repressed Irish Catholic fireman. Like all he wants to talk about is purchases, like, and just like who got a Mazda. Like that's it. He's not you're not opening anything up. But when somebody brings up anything bad that happens to them, my mom listens with like a leg up. Like she's like mounting a chair. And that's what she does. She just follows Pete around and tries to have this moment with him. And I'm like, you're never gonna,
I know my mom's always, well, my mom's always doing like a self-help program or something too. So she's always like, my sister-in-law is like, I'm very lucky. I have 2 like awesome sister-in-laws and I love their families, but my one sister-in-law's family is just a lot more reserved than us. Like we're like, so everyone's like, like everyone's like a ham and my family wants to be on camera. Everyone's saying inappropriate stuff. My mom will like follow my one sister-in-law around and she'll be like, what are like 10 things you think I could improve on myself? It's like, leave this girl alone. Like,
wait, she asks for feedback about as a mother?
Because she's doing like a program. So she's doing like a program. She's like, so my life coach told me like, I should ask. And it's like, Mom, it's her son's birthday party. Like there's like 20 kids here. She's trying to wrangle. Like she doesn't, and she's always like drinking my sister-in-law's drink. Like my sister-in-law's like, I don't even want to call her a germaphobe because I think she's just normal.
She's just normal.
Yeah, I don't think that she is, there's no judgment on how she is. But like my mom will just always accidentally be drinking her drink. It's always like, my brother's always like, she's got her drink again. She's got it again. And my sister-in-law will be like in a corner, like break out into hives. Like my mom's like, no, but is there something I can improve in our relationship? Like, I want to hear more about you.
She's asking her for feedback is one of the craziest things I've ever heard. That's so fascinating. Like, and has she asked you that question?
No, my mom will do like, yeah, because I have some. I have a few.
You have a couple
But
notes.
she's doing, my mom right now though too, I have to give her credit. She started meditating, doing this like meditation practice in
That's
the morning.
good.
And it's actually, she's so cute. And she just kind of like made this shift. There's still some little things that she does where I'm like,
Yeah, my mom's trying to.
But it's really, she's like evolved in a way that's really cool. And then she does do really sweet things for people and I won't know she's doing them. And then all of a sudden she'll just mention something. She'll be like, oh, I'm going on my walk with Kathy. I'm like, who's Kathy?
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, well, there's a woman across the street. She knows a lot of stroke victims, my mom.
My mom
But
loves
she's
sick
like-
people
but
that
she
aren't in
just
her
will
family.
walk-
Yeah, my
Yes.
brother had a seizure, like no follow up. But yeah, she'll be like literally like there for a procedure. Like she'll be in an operation with like
Yeah,
somebody
yeah,
down the
yeah.
street. Yeah.
But she walks this woman like every day because she has no one else to help her walk. It's like really
Mhm.
sweet. And she doesn't brag about it or anything.
That is the definition of a good person that doesn't tell other people that
I didn't
they're
even
doing
know.
that.
She's
Yeah.
been doing it for
When I
years.
do like a nice thing, I like send out an Evite to
Oh,
everybody
yeah.
I know.
Oh, last night when I tipped the bartenders, I'm like, I'm only getting Red Bulls. So I'm like,
I mean, like, did you do a nice thing if it's not on live? No,
I know,
every
like-
time I take it in and out of the jar too, just
This is
until
how
they
I
see the
tip.
moment. The wave inside. Yeah.
I go, do you get big ones like this a lot? It's a 5. Get a lot of 5ers.
I'm like, compliment, compliment, compliment. Yeah, no, I've related to nothing like less than
Yeah.
just doing something good and not needing to tell anybody about it. I'm just like,
And if I do something good to someone and I don't tell people about it, I'm thinking about how I'm not telling them.
yeah, me too. I always have
The whole
kind of
day I'm
like a
like,
movie in my head about my own life. It's so disgusting. Like I'll be like hanging out like at the cellar or something, and I'm like writing a biopic that no one's gonna write about me. I'm like, she was always like she hung with the guys, but at the end of the day, she was really a girl's girl. She felt comfortable in that environment because she was never like the typical mainstream lady, and that's where she like it's so disgusting. It's so vile. I have the dumbest thoughts where I'm just like, no one is going to write a book about you. It's over. It doesn't matter.
No, we have to write the books about ourselves, which is insane. By
I
the
know
way.
we do. And I'm going to write like one of those really sad books about like a woman that's life has just been nothing
Oh,
but a
yeah,
cocktail
yeah.
of abuse. And it's just going to be me in a black turtleneck
Mhm.
rocking. It'll be called like All the Way to Rape and Back Again.
I
or
know.
something.
We just name like
It'll be
our
me like
predators.
skidding back from my last. I probably shouldn't say this.
No, it's
I
fine.
mean,
It's just
like,
gonna be bleepable. It's
okay.
fine. It's no. This is like such a podcast. Don't worry. I'm like, but every chapter is just the name of a predator. I name names. It's going to be called Annie Lederman Names Names.
I think there actually is like a self-help book called Sending Myself like Roses or something. And I'm like, meanwhile, if I'm sending myself flowers, like shoot me in the face. Like if I'm like, oh, who's this? Like with a card. Oh, for me. I love like really bad self-help names. And I believe there was one called like Sending Myself Roses. I think it's like, I don't know, like some aging actress or something.
I was buying myself like expensive bouquets of flowers.
Mhm.
And then it actually became like I'm like, why does this cost as much as a cleaning lady? Why am I spending as much? It's like the flower shop near me is so expensive. I'm like, what the you guys?
No, but by the way, that is the sign of growth that you do those things. And and I'm aware of that I'm being like, if I could give myself a gift, then I wouldn't have to hurl my body to Toledo to get
you bought
attention from
yourself
strangers.
a special concealer just for your knees. And that is, speaking of growth, it looks like you need something removed right here. And I'm just
Oh my
kidding.
God, no, it really does.
No, you have great knees. That's so funny.
Thank you.
They might have just been making a comment that they could see your knees.
No, they wrote "yikes knees." I went through. There was a thread. A few people agreed and supported. I
Did
feel
you
like
go
some
on
of it was the
Reddit?
light. Yeah, I really have to stop.
I made a real the way I quit weed is how I quit Reddit too. Like I was like, I'm not like this is actually like sabotaging my career.
No, it's not good.
And I had to be like, you either have a career or you don't.
Yeah.
So I don't go on Reddit anymore unless it's to like look up actual things that I would look up on Reddit.
Like what?
Can you fix TMJ? Does it ever go away? Do you ever stop sweating?
Yeah, no, I get deep in the comment section, but I absolutely have to stop. It's not.
Well,
good.
you have to like make it something. The stakes have to be so high on it.
Yeah, and
'Cause it's
then
so
if
hard
it
not
is a
to.
compliment, it's never enough of one, and you are always going to need to keep going for the next one. And my friend's like, "Why do you focus on the negative ones?" And I'm like, "Because that's somebody else said this to me. It's not my own insight, actually." Another friend of mine said that because that's the one you believe, and so you
Right.
can't keep going because you're only gonna, you're gonna just get to something that reinforces like some rancid
yeah,
thought
no.
that you have about yourself. Yeah,
Todd's like, you'll get so many nice ones, and then you'll like you'll just go till you get an insult.
Yeah, me too. I just go until I find that person. I like, and even if it's good, it's not that good. Like it's kind of like the way it is in person. Like I went and opened for my dad's band, which I got. My dad has a band. He's called the Vomitones, and and they have like tours, which consists of like 3 dive bars, but they call it Hands Across Uranus tour or whatever. And
That's
anyway, so
so
the
funny.
Vomitones will play. My dad thinks vomiting's really funny. He's a great blues musician, by the way, Howie Feinstein. Look him up. He's a brilliant musician. Vomitones, I don't know, that name humiliated me my whole life, but he's amazing musician. But one time I had to go like open for him on the road and I got lost on the way there. And you never, if it's comedy or music, you know, people will always choose music.
Yeah.
Nobody wants comedy ever, ever, ever after music. Like turn off the music and some starts talking. No, disaster. So I end up in this dive bar in Virginia going after my father's band, after the Vomitones. Wildly bombed, like the kind of bomb where like your depth perception is affected.
Course.
Like it's hard to kind of leave the room. You have to like hold on to things. And as I was getting, oh, by the way, while I was on stage, they were screaming like songs at me. They didn't understand why I wasn't singing. Like some guys like Freebird, bitch. Like they were just fucking so annoyed that I get off stage and this guy walks up to me and he goes, you know, you wasn't bad. And then he's like, in front of my father, I didn't understand everything you saying up there, but at the end of the day, you got a real nice hole. And he really believed that he was offering me some kind of consolation for what I just had to go through. Like, he's like, that might not have been easy. She got a good.
There's something about when you bomb, it's like, can you guys just pretend I was never on stage at all?
I know.
It's
Don't
like, just
talk
have
to me about it. Don't process me with it
I bombed
after.
on a heavy metal cruise with Big J. Like it was like, and I was
cruise
on
is
the
terrible because
cruise,
you have to stay on the boat.
and you're just with everyone. I'm like, hey, Papa Roach, like, what's up?
I bombed once at a high school where I was after the gig. I turned around. First of all, I was wearing overalls and they were screaming, heckling me. This guy's like, Super Mario Brothers, bitch, you're not funny. Just screaming. And I used to think that I used to dress like a Beastie Boy. I just thought like, oh, I'll get Dickies overalls.
I love your joke about that. It's so funny. It's so true. You're like, why do all female comedians dress like the Beastie Boys?
With me, it's either a Beastie Boy or just like a real estate agent in a like I have not figured it out. Either I run way too corporate, or I'm just like dressed like I'm like a cute girl like painting in an 80s movie or something.
I know it is funny. Like I feel like when I first started comedy, I was like, don't let them know you're female.
Yeah, you think
I'd
you have
like
to cover
zip
it up
all the way up to here.
I used to wear those boy socks with the stripes from the 80s. And it was very confusing and jarring. And I thought I wear the same pair of overalls too, like a lot. You know, when you're like, nobody's noticing I'm wearing, a lot of people were noticing that I always had on the same pair of Dickies, like pinstriped overalls. Like,
yeah, they're like, dance like no one's watching. It's like everyone's watching.
Everyone knows, yeah. And so like I was on stage bombing at this high school. I was opening for this comic, Eddie Ift, and I felt like Eddie in the car the way back, he probably couldn't even look at me. Like it was kind of bomb where people needed to be away from you. No one needs to be near your body afterwards. Yeah. And in the middle of my set, this guy just stood up and he was just like, you're not funny. And then some guy was like, are you a farmer? And then some guy goes, she's a corny farmer. And then I turned around to get off stage after they'd screamed Super Mario Brothers at me. And it was one of those big, thick, dense velvet curtains where I couldn't find the opening. And I sat there for like, I mean, it felt like I was into the winter of my life, just trying to find the opening of that curtain. And they were screaming, laughing, and it didn't end briskly. Like no one was coming to help me. It was like 3 minutes that I was just sorting through velvet.
God. And then it's like, what are we doing? And then you're like, why are we here? Whose idea was this?
Yeah, it's so terrible.
This is the wrong place.
And I often feel jealous of like just couples and their date nights. And I'm like, I'm some vile clown that's like entertaining some woman as she's like holding her husband's belt loops and like, you know, following that other room, you know, just like she was like, she's fun for a raunchy evening. But like, I feel like guys' thoughts when they're watching me are like, you know, like she's fun for kind of a raunchy night.
You're like, I like that shit.
But I've got a real nice woman at home. Like, I feel like I bring couples closer together. Like, he's like, I've got a real lady. I don't rub her knee enough.
All audience members that are looking at any female comedian, all guys are going, I could probably fuck her. I think every single guy is going, I could probably bang her. What do you think, Todd?
Like audience member or
Guys.
actual, like just guys?
Like audience members.
Like audience members?
Like when we're on stage, you don't think they're like looking at us going, could I fuck her?
Yeah, no, I think they are.
There's like a
You're
moment.
right.
I wouldn't say the
At
whole
least,
thing.
little
there's a
bit.
moment at least. Yeah.
Because I have, you know what is really fun? Have you gotten where it's like guys come on their bachelor party to your show?
Yes, I'm always
Isn't that
shocked by that. I'm like,
amazing?
why? That actually makes me feel really good.
It makes
I'm
me
like,
feel amazing.
why are they going to my
I
show?
know.
That says something. Like we're going in some
It's
vague swipe of a
working.
right direction
Yes.
that men would ever choose this activity. I tell myself that it must be like by mistake or something. I'm like, there's no way that somebody's like, hey, do you want to go see Rachel Feinstein?
Yeah, like was
for
the
your
strip club like full?
Like I'm always shocked by that. Like
Yeah.
some guy organized that. What it probably is that the guy organized it and then nobody didn't come up with anything because he's a guy. So they ended up at my show.
I think that we're taking a corner here. We're turning a corner.
Do you think so? Let us know in the comments.
Guys, let us know if you like female comedians.
But maybe you're right. Yeah, because I'm always like so shocked. Like it makes me feel so much better when
I
I'm like,
know.
I can't even believe they're
And
at
they'll be
my
like, my
show.
wife is so jealous.
Really?
They'll be like, my
Yeah.
wife is so jealous she couldn't come. I'm like, that's so weird that you did a thing she wanted to do on your bachelor party.
I know. It is kind of fascinating that they do that for their bachelor parties. It's very interesting. And a lot of times it'll be the kind of guy that like when I was single, I used to go look for men in steakhouses and I would go to like, you know, like those office kind of guys that I used to just put on such a pedestal. Just any guy that's wearing
Wow,
like
you really like had better self-esteem than me.
what's that?
I
You think so?
I was like at a skate park.
I used to skateboard too.
I didn't skateboard. I was just, that's where I would look for. I was like, is there anyone homeless here? Is there anyone that has nothing? Is there anyone with less than me that I can somehow
right.
pay for your things with the $30 I'm making a year?
So you would pay for guys. That would be your
Oh,
thing
yeah,
that you would do. Yeah.
Not anymore. I joke about being the breadwinner and it's like
Mhm.
everyone, and Todd's like, people like come at me like and I'm like, why would they think that? He's like, you literally joke about it all the time. I was like, oh. They think he's like unemployed and lazy. It's like an editor for Netflix.
I always assume that if a guy has a lease in an apartment, that he's better than me, and he could be a throbbing emergency alcoholic. Like, you know, like I was dating this alcoholic that I was telling you this. Like I would call AA every day. Like you don't understand, he's drinking again. Like I need help, and they're like, it has to be him. Like,
Is there an AA number?
Yeah,
You were just calling
AAA.
AAA. They were like,
was
ma'am,
like-
this is about
I
is
think
the
there
battery
is because I
dead?
called it when I was like 24. I was dating a guy that was like a throbbing emergency alcoholic. I moved in with him after he pretended to be from a war in Iraq. He told me he was back from a war in Iraq. He faked a limp. He told me that he'd made up his war injury, and then I moved in. And then I was like, well, I've got to get him to stop drinking. And I looked up AA and I just kept calling them. And I was like, but you don't understand, like he's doing shots again. It's not just the
You kept
whiskey.
calling like
Yeah.
American Airlines. They're like, ma'am, again, this is the executive platinum desk. How did you get this number?
Can somebody let me know if I was calling the right place?
There has
Like,
to be a hotline.
There was probably
be,
some sort of
yeah.
hotline, but they would just kept being like, no, he needs to call. I'm like, but you understand he's not going to call. Like it didn't even occur to me. I'm like, he's never going to call. He's wasted right now. Like he's having a glare off at an airport bar with some old woman that he like thinks is his mom. I'm like, he's not going to call. It's got to be me. Yeah. I was bribing him every day to quit drinking.
He's
I
in
was
a
like,
fight with a woman who
please.
thinks he's mom.
He was always glaring at some old bitch at a bar. Like he was always like, and I'm like, Chris, that's not your and I'm like, yeah, he was like a construction worker. I'm like, you're a foreman. What beef can you possibly have? Like some 68-year-old lady named Virginia at a bar. So I was like looking at her like, like I'm not so sure. Yeah, no, I would not leave. I was just like, I'm gonna get this guy
Oh, I
sober.
would date people. I had a thing where I was like, I would date people like 3 years past when I was like, it would be like
Yeah.
like a light, like I went through I was in a different phase of my life.
Yeah.
When I would end the relationship, I'd be like, God, I was really 2 months in, I was like, I got to break up with this guy.
You know right away. You do know right away.
And then I'm like, oh.
I had a boyfriend where like the ex-girlfriend sent me an email and she's like, I'm still with him. And he's like, oh no, that was a miscommunication. We broke up. And she's like, and he cheated on me with this, this, and that. And he owes me like 16 grand. And he was like, she's nuts. And I was like, sounds right.
I know. I can't.
He's like, oh, she's crazy.
Yeah, every boyfriend I had crazy ex-girlfriends. I'm like, wow, it's so,
Yeah.
women are insane.
I'm like, God, they're such gold diggers. Meanwhile, he then stole 12 grand from me as well. Yeah, like this has happened to me so many times where I'm just like zoom through every red
I know,
flag.
it's very weird.
Yeah.
I just like completely trust people when they tell me things.
Me too.
I'm just like, why
Because
did you
also,
lie?
I feel like it's hard to lie. Like if you have really bad ADD, you're not going to be able to like track your own lies. So I'm always like, I always compliment myself on that's like the one vile habit I don't have is like making up really specific stories about myself.
No, it's like like I'm telling you with pranks, like I'm always like, it's a prank. Like the minute it gets uncomfortable, I'm like, I'm pranking you.
Yeah. Yes, me too.
All right,
Yeah.
bailing out, pranking.
And I've been lied to just like, I mean, ludicrous
Oh,
lies. Like the
yeah.
guys get real lazy real quick because they can tell I'm going to like stick around because I'm going to need like a charger or something. So I'm like, I had a guy that was just always looking through my computer. He had spyware on my phone.
That's so crazy.
And he would take this trip with my computer where he would run with the computer and I would chase him and he'd be like, who's are you sucking or something? And then he would make these loud like Howard Dean sounds. He'd be like, like pterodactyl noises. And then he would take my computer that I was trying to get back from him and put it in the freezer, which is the weirdest place, but I guess he just figured I couldn't get it there. But this was like a daily scene in my life, like jogging around a fucking apartment in Forest Hills.
I know, and you're like, this is normal. Isn't this how life works?
Yeah.
We were talking about this the other night, but it's like, I had a boyfriend who we lived together and I'm like sitting on the toilet and I look into the bathtub and there's just like a very long black hair. And I'm like, it's like this long. Like, it's like definitely not pube. It's like definitely like, I'm like, which like how annoying.
I know. Like, it's annoying. It's
then you're just like, how are you
now
going to
like, now I have
explain
to
this
deal
away?
with this.
I got to like get a new apartment or whatever. And then I'm like, so then I was like, what's the hair?
Yeah.
And he was like, he goes, when you were out of town, my friend's friend needed to use the bathroom. I'm like, the tub? Like, how would I have gotten the tub? And you're just like, okay, you wouldn't lie to me. Like, how could you lie to me? I live with you. This is crazy. But in your head, you're like, I can't.
Did you guys have a fight or did you like just decide to accept that?
I feel like we were always
nonsense?
in a fight. It was just like always a fight. I don't think we were ever not in a fight. We had like, people would slide notes under the door. Like, do we need to call the cops?
Yeah.
All the time.
I was definitely in a similar situation where it was like, I was like working on this pilot at the time. And I was like, I was so proud that I was dating him because I was like, oh, he's cool. He like had a good job. And I realized later, my friend told me that everybody that was working on this pilot like had an impression of him. Like I was like, so it turns out he was kind of crazy. They're like, yeah, we all know. We all had a separate impression of him. Like I was really thought I was fooling everyone. Like I just wanted people to think like I had a real boyfriend, and they were like, no, he's crazier than a house rat. And he would just sit outside the building where we would write, and like I would just come.
Isn't it so funny?
Yeah, he'd be waiting for me because he always thought like somebody else was inside
it's so
me.
Weird.
Because he was everybody, of course. Yeah,
I know. It's funny. Like when I broke up with that one guy, my sister-in-law, I broke up with him. And she goes, oh, thank God. And I go, yeah. What were you worried about me? She goes, every day.
Yeah,
and they don't want to say anything to you because they don't want you to like be mad at them or something.
Yeah, that's interesting because like that's happened to me like with several relationships where I was like, what? You mean the guy that pretended to be from the war in Iraq and faked leg injury?
I know. Then you look back and you're like, oh my God.
He would scream outside my window like Marlon Brando, and I just thought it was hot. I was like, I got this construction worker like screaming outside my window.
This is passion,
He's
right?
Like he was lit up, and I was like so flattered. I was like, he likes me so much.
Yeah,
he likes me so much.
I remember I had one boyfriend who I would like do his laundry or whatever. Because he was like not gonna, it's like, yeah. We have to have a walkway somewhere. Stepping over pizza boxes and stuff. And I'm like, so I would like do his laundry. And then he would sleep until like 7 p.m. basically. And then he'd wake up, I'd have dinner ready for him. It's so crazy where I was the one that was like the person making, I'm like, how did this happen? I'm to be served. I'm not to serve.
Yeah.
I don't know how it happened. I
feel like for me, it's like this contract, almost like it's like if you put up with the fact that I'm going to lose my passport on the way to the airport, then I'll put up with the fact that you're pretending you were in the war in Iraq.
I know, it's low self-esteem. It's like, well, I'm like a shit show too. And then you're like, I'm not a shit show in a dangerous way.
Yes. And I've ended up with guys that could fill out forms, but like they were like inside of a woman the moment I left. But I'm like, but it'll still fill out the form.
I know, there was like something that they were doing that was like a little
that was kind of helpful. Yeah. When I just needed an assistant or something.
I know, exactly. And so I would like cook him dinner, and then he would wake up at 7. I would have had a whole full day, done everything, all this stuff. He'd be like, I never have any alone time. I'm like, your alone time is while you're sleeping. I can't now leave. This is my time for dinner. This is when I'm back at the house. This is the end of my day.
You would get upset that you were having dinner in your own home.
He'd be like, I never have any time alone. I'm like, all day you have time alone. But he he would get mad at me. I would like be off like at yoga or whatever, get out of yoga. I'd have like 100 text messages from him that would be like, you wash every pair of my fucking shorts. Like who the fuck washes every pair of everyone's fucking shorts? And I'm like, first of all, I didn't. I definitely
Also,
left.
that's like good. That's positive.
I know. I'm also like, he's like,
really
what
nice.
kind of fucking idiot are you? And then he would go, it would be like so long. Then at the end he'd go, oh, I found them. Never mind. Just don't read those. And then I'd have to come home and be like, hi.
It's a crazy, crazy feeling.
it's
and then we have to
insane that
perform inside of that too, that level of like insane abuse. It's not, it's a lot. He would send me those kinds of, or he'd take a picture of something and be like, who does.
And they would do it right before you go on stage. And it's like, I feel like men can compartmentalize so they could get that right before they go into work. But it's like, I don't.
Well, and nobody should have to like compartmentalize like wild levels of insane abuse.
I did start getting to the point where I was like, well, it's kind of fueling me. Like sometimes I'd be like, I'm going to just have the best set.
Yeah.
Like sometimes it would like, I would just have
because
to like
you're running
myself.
from something. I used to feel like I needed that level of trauma because I was always running from like fresh trauma before I went on stage. But obviously that's not good. And I was able to perform in spite of that. But it would be like, he would get so mad about what I was going to wear for different television appearances. Like it's insanity.
Like you're like, how, and then me now looking back, I'm like, how could I have like, where was I? I always think like who, like, I don't even judge them. I'm like, who was she? Like, who was that girl that like, like it's like so weird. Not that I'm mad at myself, but I'm just like, I'm surprised by myself.
I think sometimes also just like, you want to believe and they don't change at all. Not a goddamn bit, not a bit. And if they're really smart sometimes and manipulative and whatever, like I came home one night, he just had one lamp on. He was just sitting under it with a receipt of mine, like just looking at some like taxi
like, this is
receipt.
Goodwill. What is this? It says you got
exactly. It was the same Goodwill receipt. No, he's like, it doesn't add up. Doesn't add up with you. Like he was like just accusing me of cheating on him or something. And I'm like, it never adds up with me, first of all. Like I'm a quaking mess.
And it's like you would know if I was cheating on you.
Yeah,
I'm
you would know.
Bad at things.
Yeah, of course. I would leave, like, you would know if I murdered somebody, there would be a debit card at the scene. There would be like a trail of blood from that guy's house to my home. Yeah.
Can I tell you that my phone somehow calls? Like if I get in a fight with someone or like, I had a couple friend breakups recently.
Greg Fitzsimmons was like, I heard you and your daughter in bed the other night. He's like, you were so sweet when you were tucking her in. I'm like, I'm sorry.
No, it's so crazy. Rachel, I'll just be talking to Todd and my phone will FaceTime the person that I am no longer friends with. That it's insane for me to be FaceTiming them. It'll be like 6 a.m. and I'm like FaceTiming.
It's always somebody I just bothered for a spot or something. And I'm like, I'm FaceTiming the booker at the Improv at 5 a.m. right now.
It's crazy.
It's a lot.
But one time I FaceTimed, I went on a date with this like singer-songwriter right before I was dating Todd. And we went on one date.
Mm-hmm.
And then I met my fiance. Pandemic happens. It's like, we're like into the pandemic. I FaceTimed him. I don't know how like my phone will just be like, let me with you, bitch. Like, who's the worst person I could FaceTime? I wasn't talking about it and say his name. It's just like, my phone just starts ringing and I'm like, what?
This happens to me all day too. Do you have the answers for us of why we do this? Because it happens to me too.
I don't know why the phone does it.
You've seen it happen.
Yeah,
it's happened. I'm not even touching it.
Yeah.
I'm not even touching it. And it'd be, I'm like, but so this guy, so then he hits me up back and he goes, hey, I'm in Mexico on tour. What's up? I'm like, why would I be FaceTiming you? Like, at least accept it.
Yeah, give the courtesy of not saying anything at all if somebody FaceTimes you.
What universe?
Yeah, unless you're somebody or they're your kid, just assume it's always a mistake and don't text after. Come on.
It's like, enough is enough. I've gotten better. I used to like call people, like I just like, oh, I have to talk. So I would just call like a list of people. It would just be like, who will pick up? And now I'm pretty good. I don't really talk to that many people.
Yeah, me too. That's like when I started like going to like when I started like getting help for like my wild levels of codependence, I would basically every call I made would be like, okay, he can't drink whiskey anymore. He's like, but I'm thinking that if he's going to there, like, and then that person would be like, yeah, I don't think, I didn't even occur to me that you couldn't get somebody to stop drinking. I'd be like, he's going to go to that party. There's going to be a beer there, and I would just go through my friends who were fatigued by my levels of quaking madness, until I'd be like that one friend that'll listen to you, like, what you should do? Hide all of it. That's all you got to do. Just hide it. And then I'll be sober. Like, I just didn't even, when I look back and see just how throbbingly mentally ill I was, it feels good because I'm like, I actually know now that I was not responsible
Yeah.
for his cocktail of emotional damage
Well,
and
also,
addictions.
I think when we do that, we're like, and our parents, it sounds like
Mhm.
our parents kind of get in other people's business because then you don't have to deal with your own shit. It's
Yeah,
like,
of
even if you
course.
think about like beginning comedy jealousy, like, you know, when you like, I'm just assuming everyone had jealousy in the beginning.
course,
I was just
yeah.
saying that to Todd. I was like, I'm so glad that I would say like 6 years ago, I just woke up and had no.
It goes
Not
away. It does
even-
go away because you just kind of become a
absolute
better
support
comic.
and also like absolute happiness and support for anyone, whether I'm friends with them or not. Like anyone's success in comedy or like it's a success for comedy, like having no, like I'm just so glad that happened because I remember I would be like, well, so-and-so got or whatever. And you're like, oh, that's just like me not taking responsibility for my own.
like writing,
what
or for my
like,
case, it was my rep. Like, I'll just go write or do whatever. But it took me a while too. I used to look at lineups and see who was on it. I haven't done that in so many years.
couldn't
And
even
also,
give a
I think
fuck.
I realized that everything you get is you get through your friends anyways. So it's just practically speaking, like the more female comics or comics in general, like that I'm friends with that are doing
course.
things, then I'm not going to get something off an audition or something. So
no,
it's just like, if you crunch the numbers, that makes no sense anymore. Yeah.
I know. And the way things work now too, there's truly like any gatekeeper is like full of shit anyway.
Yeah. It's
They're just like
complete
waiting for
nonsense.
you to go viral. And then they're like, oh, okay. They're like, I told Todd, I can't believe I was like wasting time trying to like write really well-crafted jokes. Like that was the biggest waste of my whole time. My whole life.
I know,
Doesn't
you're a
matter.
very funny comic though.
I should have been chain smoking in a pregnancy belly this whole time.
I know it is true. Like I just think about the amount like that I'll be like, oh, if I could just get this word choice right. And it's just like,
really all we have to do is something, we have to like trip and fall in front of a bunch of people. And
you're right. It comes down to, it's going to come down to slipping on a banana peel. It's going to come down to like
We're back
what
to
the
the
Three
OG.
Stooges used to do.
Exactly.
Like we're like heading towards there. Yeah.
Ooh, I'm feeling a sketch.
Mm.
Uh-oh, the
Get
Stooges.
ready, guys.
The Three
Fucking Annie and
Stooges.
Rach Slumber party setting.
3 girl stooges. All right, well, your special is coming out on May 21st. What's it
May
called?
21st. It's called Big Guy.
Big Guy on
Netflix,
Netflix.
yeah.
Exciting. That's so cool.
Yeah, so watch that. And I'm just going to stay in Annie's home now.
This was so fun.
Thank you guys. I had
I
the
knew it
best
was gonna be
time.
the best.
This was so nice.
I feel like you guys should go back and listen to the Guys episode we did together at.
That was really
We
fun.
were so funny
What
together.
made me laugh so much is that you can come up with the fucking funniest line really quick. Like the most, like, I'm like, how does she come up with that? Watch this. I'm not, and you'll see that I'm not being flattering her. Like I'm not being like a fake. Watch Guys episode with us. You say the weirdest, funniest very fast. Like you'll be able to deal with, and then it probably also comes from like some of the trauma that you've been through. Like
And
you'll be able to see
ADD.
the most, and ADD, it's a specific cocktail that like lets somebody come up with the right word choice like this, where you'll be able to see the most, like the most confusing train wreck of a situation and you'll immediately sum it up. Like, cause you've had to be inside of so many whirlwinds. But I had the best time, you guys. Thank you.
Yay, thank you for coming. Happy Mother's Day.
Thank you.
We really do. We love each other.
It's the meat and potatoes.
Welcome to Anniewood. This is the land of the Stannies, Annies, and Fannies, and all of the Seeper nannies. Yeah, welcome to Anniewood. This is the land of the Stannies, Annies, and Fannies, and all of the Seeper nannies. I'm gonna ayahuasca. I'm about to prosper. Blingy on my drinky, and Randy is living.
Oh, Randy, how did you feel about today's episode? Was it good? Did you like it? Did you like it outside? Did you like it like a puppuccino? Puppuccino? Did you like a puppuccino? Did you like a puppuccino?